When I was 18 years old, I saw for the first time in my life, I saw an image of clarity. I saw a comic strip. A 3-panel comic strip, though. Simple as it seemed, changed me, changed my being, changed who I am, made me who I am. Enlightened me. The strip, Garfield. The comic strip was new, no more than a month and a half since inception, since coming into existence, and there it was before me in print. I saw a comic strip. What was it called? Garfield. The story here is of a man, a plain man. He is John, but there's more to that. I will get to this later, but let's just say that he's a man, a plain man. And then there's a cat, Garfield. This is the nature of the world here. When I see the world, the politics, the future, the satellites in space, and the people who put them there, you can look at everything as a man and a cat, two beings in harmony and at war. So, the strip I saw, this man, John, and the cat Garfield, you see. Yes, it is about everything. The comic is, oh, lo and behold, not so little anymore. So, yes, when I was 18, I saw this comic, and it hit me all at once. Its power. I clipped it. And every day, I looked at it and said, okay, let me look at this here. What is it doing for me? Why is it so powerful? John Arbuckle, he sits here, legs crossed, comfortable in his home, and he reads the newspaper. The news of the world, perhaps. And then, he extends his finger lightly, delicately. He taps his finger on the end table, and he feels for something. What is it? It is something he needs, but it's not there. And then he looks up, slightly cockeyed, and he thinks his newspaper in his lap now, and he thinks this.
Now where could my pipe be?
I always come to this because I was a young man, and I'm older now, but I still don't have the secrets, the answers. So this question still rings true. John looks up and he thinks, now, where can my pipe be? And it happens. You see it. It's almost like divine intervention, and suddenly it's there, and it overpowers you. A cat is smoking a pipe. It is the man's pipe. It's John's pipe. But the cat Garfield, is smoking the pipe. And from afar, and someplace near but not clear. Near but not clear. The man calls out. John calls out. He is shocked. Garfield, he shouts. Garfield, the cat's name.
Oh, my cat is actually on my lap right now. Two beings in perfect harmony, huh?
But let's take a step back. Let us examine this from all sides, all perspectives. Perspectives. Fuck, I can't say that word. And when I first came across this comic strip, I was at my father.
Out of the fucking way! I can't see my keyboard, hobby. Up. There you go, buddy. Where was I?
Let us examine this from all sides, all perspectives.
The same thing twice.
And when I first came across this comic strip, I was at my father's house. A newspaper had arrived, and I picked it up for him. And I brought it inside. I organized its sections for him, and yes, the comic section fell out from somewhere in the middle and landed on the kitchen floor. I picked up the comic strip. I picked up the paper strips and saw somewhere near the top of the strip, just like John, I was wearing an aquamarine shirt. Aquamarine shirt. Yeah. So I thought, interesting. I'll have to see this later. I snipped out the comic strip and held on to it. And 5 days later, I re-examined it, and it gripped me. I need to find out more about this. I need to find out more about an orange cat named Garfield. 5 days later, I re-examined it, and it gripped me. I already said that. The information I had was minimal, but enough. The cat was named Garfield. Okay, so that seemed to be the linchpin of the whole operation. Yes. Another clue. A signature in the bottom right corner. A man's name. Jim... Fuck, that was a terrible circle. Fuck it. Jim Davis. Yes, I'm onto it for sure. So, 1, Garfield, orange cat, and 2, Jim Davis, the creator of this cat, and that curiously plain man. And then I saw more. I spotted the tiny copyright mark in the upper left corner. Right there. Copyright 1978 to... What is this? Copyright belongs to a Paul's Incorporated.
I need to take a sip of my juice. It's mango juice, in case if you're wondering.
I used the local library and mail services to track down the information I was looking for. Jim Davis, a cartoonist, had created a comic strip about a cat, Garfield, and a man, John Arbuckle. From that point on, I was sure to read the Garfield comic strips, though as I read each one, as each day passed, the strips seemed to resonate with me less and less. I sent letters to Paws Incorporated, long letters, pages upon pages, asking Mr. Jim Davis if he could somehow just publish the one comic over and over again. It would be meditative, I wrote. The strength of that! Could you imagine? But no response. The strips lost their power, and eventually I stopped reading, but that did not... But I didn't want my perceptions diluted, so I vowed to read the pipe strip over and over. That's what I called it, the pipe strip. The pipe strip. Everything about it was perfect. I could only describe it as a miracle creation. Something came together, the elements align. It's like the comets, the cosmic orchestra that's over there in your head. The immense, enormous void is working all for one thing, to tell you one thing. Gas and rock and purity and nothing. I will say this. When I see the pipe strip, and I mean every single time I look at the lines, the colors, the shapes that make up the 3-panel comic, I see perfection. Do I find perfection in many things? Some would say things are perfect. Some things are perfect, and this is one of them. I can look at the little tuft of hair on John Arbuckle's head. It is perfect. It is the perfect shade. The purple pipe in Garfield's mouth. How could a mere mortal even make this? I have a theory about Jim Davis. After copious research, and yes, of course, now we have the internet, and this information is all readily available, but Jim Davis, he used his life experience to influence this comic. Like I mentioned before, none of them seem to have the weight of the pipe strip, but you have to wonder about the man who was able to even just once create the brilliant form, a literally flawless execution of art, brilliance, as an award. I think there is a spiritual element at work. I've seen my share of bad times, and when you have something, well, it's just emotions and neurons in your brain. But something tells you the truth. Truth radiates light. Garfield, the cat, neurons in my brain, and it's just harmony, you see. It's John and Garfield. It's truly harmony, like a continuous, looping, everlasting harmony. The lavender chair, the brown end table, the salmon-colored wall, the floor's green carpeting. Garfield is hunched, perched perhaps at the pipe, stuck firmly between his jowls, his tail curled around. It's more than the shapes, too, because Okay, stay with me a couple of times. Stay with me. I've done this a couple of times. You replace the blobs with the magazine cutouts of other things. Replace John Arbuckle with a car parked in the driveway sideways. Cut out of a magazine, stick it in. Replace him with a second panel with a food processor. Okay. And then we put the picture of the planet in the third panel over Garfield. It still works. These are universal proportions. I don't know. It's best to I don't know how to explain it works. I've studied the pipe strip and analyzed John and Garfield's proportions against several universal mathematical constants. E, pi, the golden ratio, the Fibonacci, I can never say that word, constants, and so on. And it's surprising, scary even, how things align. You could just take the tiny pieces of the pipe strip, for instance. Take John's elbow, right here. John's elbow. and take that and project it over John's entire shape in the second panel, and you have a near perfect Fibonacci sequence emerge. Wow! Just look at this. Here's my wow. It's just wow. It's crazy. I know. It's eerie to me. So eerie.
I lost my place.
It's eerie to me, and it makes you wonder if you're in the presence of a deity, if there's something larger at hand, at work.
I need a drink. I'm yelling. It feels like I'm losing my Adachi voice.
Persona! Persona! Persona!
Okay. Where was I?
It's eerie to me, and it makes you wonder if you're in the presence of some deity, if there's a larger hand at work. There's no doubt in my mind that Jim Davis is a smart man. Jim Davis is capable of anything to me. He is remarkable, but he is so far beyond that. I think that we might see that. This work of art is revered and respected in years to come. Jim Davis is possibly a new master of the craft, a genius of the eye. This very well may be the same thing. They very well may say this. Fuck! They very well may say the same things about Jim Davis in 500 years that we say about the great philosophical and artistic masters from centuries ago. Jim Davis is a modern-day Socrates or a Da Vinci, mixing both striking visual beauties with classical daring, unheard of intellect. Look, he combines these things to make profoundly simple expressions. The strip is his masterpiece. The pipe strip is a masterpiece. And it's a masterpiece and a marvel. Ugh. And his cat. I often look at Garfield's particular pose in this strip. He is poised, and his cat stared, fuck, balls, pussy, cum, is reminiscent of the fiery gaze is often found in the religious iconography.
Wait, that's the end of the post. I can't read any more. I gotta find the transcript. Everybody sit still. I'm gonna go looking for it.
Okay. But still, his eyes are playful, lying somewhere in between the solemn father's expression and Rembrandt's Return of the Prodigal Son, and the copy smirk of Da Vinci's St. John the Baptist. His ears stick up, signifying a peaked readiness. Like this. That's Garfield's ears. He is, after all, a close relative and descendant of the mighty jungle cats of Africa that can leap after prey. You could see the power drawn in Garfield's hindquarters. Powerful haunches, indeed. Haunches. Does that really say haunches? Is haunches really a word? Is that a word? If I had like an Alexa, I could look that up, but I don't, because it's unplugged, because my mom keeps calling me on that. What the fuck? The third panel. And I'm just saying this now. This is just coming to me now. The third panel of the pipe strip is essentially a microcosm of the entire strip itself. All the power dynamics, the struggle for superiority, right? Who has the pipe? Where is the pipe? All of that is drawn, built, layered on the Garfield's iconic pose here. You can see it in the curl of his tail. Garfield's ear whiskers stick up, and on the end, the smoke billows upwards, drawing the eye upward, increasing the scope. I'm just amazed, really, after 33 years of reading and analyzing the same comic strip, I'm able to find new dimensions. It's a testament to the work. For 6 years, I've delved in the tobacco research. Because, can a cat smoke? This is a metaphysical question, yes. Can any cat smoke? Do we know? Can just Garfield smoke? The research says no. Nicotine poisoning can kill animals, especially household pets. And all it takes is in the nicotine found in a little single cigarette. Fuck, I can't read. But you know what I'm trying to say, right? Right? Yeah, probably. Surely John's pipe holds a substantial amount of tobacco, and it's true that pets living in the homes of smokers are nearly 25% more likely to develop some sort of cancer. But mostly likely due to secondhand smoke, but these are the facts of smoking and the tolls on our world. But after visiting 2 tobacco processing plants in Virginia and the Philip Morris cigarette manufacturing facility, I came no closer to cracking the meaning. I was looking for any insights. This detective of a homicide case has to look at every angle, so I'm always taking apart the pipe strip. I focused on every minute, every little detail of the strip. John Arbuckle's clothing, I have replicas. I'm an expert in textiles, so you see, the smoking thing was a hang-up to me. But until this statement here, this is the key. This is the breakthrough. The pipe is not a pipe, real. It's not a pipe. Obviously, there's symbolism at work here. I saw that from the beginning. And I looked at the literal aspects of the strip trying to gain insight in the metaphors of the play. I worked at the newspaper printing press for 18 years. In the late 1980s, I was learning the literal gestures, the subliteral, the in-between. John reading this newspaper means so much more than just John reading the newspaper, but how could you ever hope to decipher the puzzle without knowing everything there is about newspapers? Okay, for example, John is holding up his newspaper on his left hand, thumb gripping the interior. I learned that this particular grip here was the newspaper grip of the 19th century aristocrats, and this aristocrat grip was the point of... Fuck!
I'm done with this dumbass idea. I don't want to do it anymore.